back with Robert Sawyer. Once again, he's the technology partner at Sikich, and he's author of the Before Metrics section of our ERP implementation guide. Robert, why is it so important to go through the process of gauging your baseline measures?
Um, so that's a great question. I think I could distill these down into, I would say, 3 points. Maximizing business value. You want to make sure that you have predictable and an embraced outcome from your organization. And ultimately, you want to measure your performance. And if you don't have, I would say, upfront, something that you're measuring your baseline from and can compare it against, then how objectively are you going to define how successful your implementation is?
It's very true. That's a good point. So, how should organizations go about measuring their pre-implementation performance baseline?
Yeah, so you want to do the best. I don't think that this would be a living, breathing document type of approach. So I think you would want to at first take some before measures so you understand what your starting point is. And then from there, you want to look at some of your key areas, right? Because what performance metrics are, you're trying to basically come up with a pulse and health dashboard of how is your organization performing without skewing one specific work area or work stream more than the other. So how are you performing collectively? So you could look at it from a finance and accounting standpoint. You could look at from an order processing, ship order preparation time, warehouse and inventory performance, customer service. We have several metrics that we certainly can share with you on what we've seen other firms leverage. And then once you've established that, then what you want to do is do interim checkpoints throughout your implementation, not so much to compare just a one for one. How is your current system doing now versus your implementation that you're going through? Because you may go through business process redesign, re-engineer. You may eliminate some unnecessary manual processes. So it's not always going to be a one for one, but at least it gives you hopefully the best chance of objectively measuring what is your team's performance in this implementation? How is your organization driving and changing additional value or bringing additional value to the table? And how is your team adapting to change?
That's great, Robert. So when you have all these baseline metrics, where should you be documenting them, as it relates to the project and even for the future?
Yeah, so I think there's, when it comes to what we recommend as far as a project organization structure, you may want to consider that to become part of your either project charter. You may want to be part of that, your meeting minutes that you report against when it comes to your steering committee. It may be something from an executive sponsor standpoint. I mean, as far as the mechanism, it could be contained in SharePoint. It could become part of, your internal project structure on where you keep all of your documentation, document handling. We have several recommendations we've seen work very well. And again, it's not just establishing. Sometimes there can be a lot of effort in establishing what these metrics are. They're not tracked during, and they're barely reflected on after. So we certainly don't mind helping you shepherd through that process because we want to see you gain the most value possible.
Great. Thank you, Robert. Appreciate your time.
Thank you.